Camp for Special Needs Children, a program to address mental health needs in youth, a repair cafe where community comes together to reduce waste, and a resource hub that helps hundreds of families. What do they have in common? They show the innovative mindset of municipal employees to tackle problems and foster community in their towns and cities. Oh, and they were the 2024 Municipal Excellence Award winners at the CCM convention. Today on this episode of Municipal Voice, we're talking to representatives from Stonington, Guilford, Glastonbury, and Norwalk about their winning concepts and what it means to excel for your residents. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state and local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or member municipal leaders. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So first off, can you tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name is Anna Park. I work for the Glastonbury Parks and Recreation Department. I am a recreation supervisor, and I oversee various programs that we offer here in town, one of which is our special needs camp, and I do the majority of our special needs programming here for the town. I've been working for the town for 25 years,
Okay.
so been here quite a long time.
Yeah. So we're talking to you today because we're talking to some of our Municipal Excellence Award winners. And there's different categories of prizes. There's some based on the population size of the town. But the one you guys won was a special award. It's a topical award. And it was given this year for creative use of resources, partnerships, and collaboration. And specifically, the program that won this award was the Camp Sunrise for summer of 2023. So tell us a little bit about Camp Sunrise.
Sure. So I'll talk about the collaboration piece first.
Yeah.
So we're very unique in that we operate this program. It's funded and operated through Glastonbury, but also through the towns of Rocky Hill, Cromwell, Newington, Weathersfield, and Glastonbury. So the program is subsidized by each of those towns. So that's kind of the unique piece. So each of the towns pays a fee to have their children from their communities come to our program. And then the families also pay a fee. But that subsidy that the towns provides helps to offset the cost for those families. So it makes it a more affordable program for them.
That makes sense.
Plus the fact that various towns can participate is also a little bit unique, as most municipalities run programs either for just residents or residents and non-residents, but don't limit it specifically to various towns.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because when the program started over 50 years ago, these are communities that really didn't have a lot of programming for children with disabilities. So families and parents came together and kind of pushed for the need for something like this to take place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Camp Sunrise is for children with disabilities. What sort of disabilities are we talking about? And what do they do at camp? Like,
Yeah. I like to say we look exactly like a typical day camp.
mm-hmm.
We just have more staff, more volunteers, more eyes, more ears.
Mm-hmm.
We take children of varying abilities. I can tell you kind of some of the children we have in our program. We have kids that have Down syndrome. We have some children with autism. We have children with physical limitations. We have children who just have trouble socializing with other kids. So really it runs the gamut of,
Yeah. What sort of age groups does it cover?
Yeah, 3 through 21 years old.
3 through 21, and they can all go to Camp Sunrise?
They all can go to camp. Yes.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And so it's a day camp?
It's a day camp. We run Monday through Friday from 9 to 3 for 7 weeks.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What sort of activities do you do at Camp Sunrise?
Just everything. We field trips once a week. We swim at our local Addison pool 3 days a week. The kids actually walk to the pool, which is about a half a mile walk to the pool.
Okay.
Arts and crafts, sports activities. We bring on-site activities into the program. So this past summer or in 2023, which was the program we're referring to, we did various things like cooking programs. We brought animals in that the kids could play with, puppies. We did a magic show. We do a game show, a lot of STEM activities. So we did a Lego program and yeah.
You talk about like a magic show and that sort of stuff. For those sort of events, do the families come and see the show?
No, typically camp is just for the kids.
Just for the
So we
kids.
do
Okay.
these activities during the day, but we do incorporate families. We have a couple of events. We
Hmm.
do a banquet at the end of the summer in the evening where parents can come, and we, give out awards and various superlatives to campers. And it's an opportunity for the staff to be able to say hi to the families and thank them.
Yeah,
Our Elks Club actually in town sponsors that for us,
that's cool.
which is very cool. Another collaboration that we have. And then we also do a pre-camp parent orientation with the
Hmm.
kiddos so that they can meet the staff before the program starts. Yeah.
That's very cool. So you said this has been going on for 50 years now?
Uh, it's funny. I've been working for the town for 25 years and people
Hmm.
always ask me, when did this program start? And I can't quite exactly figure it
Hmm.
out. So I say over
But
50
before you
years
got there, well
before I
before
got
you got
there.
there, that's really cool. So was it even more groundbreaking maybe 50 years ago than even than now? It's still winning a topical award in 2024, but I imagine
Yeah.
50 years ago it was even more of a
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Definitely. I think it, again, parents kind of came and said, we need
Hmm.
this type of programming for our kids. They may not be successful in a typical camp environment, and what can
Hmm.
we do to accommodate them? And that's how it started. So I think it was very groundbreaking at the time. Yeah.
That's cool. How many kids come to camp?
So we take about 60 campers each week,
Hmm.
but about 90 different campers come to us over the course of the summer.
So there's different sessions within that sort of
Exactly.
thing.
Seven 1 week sessions. Yeah.
And do campers come to like one session or can they come to multiple sessions?
They can come to all 7 sessions. It's a weekly fee that they pay, so they
Hmm.
can sign up for as many weeks as are available.
So they
Mhm.
can kind of fit it to their family schedule or something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very
So if they're
cool.
taking a vacation, yeah.
Um, if it's been around for that long, I wonder, are there any campers that have come back and worked at the camp or talked about like the impact that it had on them?
Yeah, great question. So, we have a really wonderful volunteer program. We have about 90 volunteers with us each
Hmm.
summer. And I could talk a little bit about that later, but to answer your question specifically, we have some of our campers come back as volunteers.
Hmm.
And we will even incorporate that into their camper time with us. So sometimes we'll have a camper that's with us. They'll come to
Hmm.
camp as a camper for 5 weeks and then they'll
Hmm.
volunteer for a couple of weeks.
So
So,
some of the older campers.
exactly.
Very
Hmm.
cool. So yeah, like I know I was a counselor in training at my day camp when I was, 13 or 14. It was very cool.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so why do you think it's important that we offer these sort of programs in towns?
I think there's a variety of different reasons and a variety of different schools of thought.
Hmm.
I think what I see in our program is this is a place where our kiddos can find other people that are just like them, and they can relate to each other.
Hmm.
They don't, they feel accepted. And they can participate in all the same activities that their typical peers are participating in, but just in a smaller setting with a little bit more staff and a little bit more specialized attention.
Mm.
So I think that's really important. I think sometimes kids can get lost in the shuffle
Yeah.
in some of the typical camps where there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of sensory activities happening, and it might be overwhelming for them.
Hmm.
And I think in our environment, it's a little less so. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still camp and it's still chaotic and it's still crazy and loud and fun,
Mhm.
but I think it's a little bit more manageable for some of our kiddos.
Yeah. Um, where does it take place? Is the camp a physical location, Camp Sunrise, or does it take place at a school? Where does this all happen?
Yeah, we're housed at Smith Middle School in Glastonbury,
Okay.
and we utilize the cafeteria, the gym, and the outside grounds. A couple of classrooms. Yeah.
Hmm. Very cool. If someone wanted to volunteer or perhaps learn about maybe sending a camper to camp, where could they go to find out more information about this?
So on the town website, glastonbury-ct.gov,
Hmm.
they can navigate to the Parks and Recreation website, and then from there, click on Camp Sunrise.
Hmm.
Information about volunteering is there, as well as registering for camp. The volunteer process, there's an application process,
Hmm.
and that application typically will get posted in February, and then we'll start to notify folks, in March, April.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Have you historically, or since you won this award, had any interest from other towns calling you saying, "Hey, how can we maybe do this in our town?"
All the time.
Yeah.
So both from parents who want to participate or want their children to participate in the program
Hmm.
that don't reside in one of the towns that we serve,
Yeah.
and also from other communities that are looking to start programs like this
Hmm.
in their community. Our challenge is that one of the reasons I think the program is so successful is that we're not a huge program.
Hmm.
I think, it works well because we take the 60 campers per week.
Hmm.
It's a perfect group size. We group the kids into different groups based on age and ability. So we don't have the capacity to be any bigger.
Hmm.
So that's really one of the reasons why we can't take additional towns into the fold.
Yeah.
We just don't have the space. We don't have the staff,
But
as
there
much as
are
I would
other
like to.
kind of similar programs out around the state, you think?
Yeah, I
So
think
like
so. I
people,
mean,
if they're not in one of those towns, it would definitely be worth them looking into to see if there's something to their area.
yeah, and I get calls from those parents all the time, and I'll usually try to connect them with other resources for
Hmm.
programs. There are other communities that run special needs camps and that do a wonderful job with it.
Hmm.
That might not have this kind of five-town collaboration that we do, but they still do a really nice job. So there's other options out there for families.
Awesome. Well,
Hmm.
it sounds like a wonderful program and it's going strong for 50 years, may go for another 50, but in 2024, you guys won the award. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time to talk to you about our program. I love it, and it's a great program for our kids.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. Danielle, Marianne, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. It's great to be here.
So obviously we had you on the show today because we're talking about the Municipal Excellence Awards. But before we get to that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about Stonington. What's going on in Stonington? Anything exciting happening coming up?
Always exciting things
Yeah?
happening. Always exciting things happening. No, there is so much exciting things happening. And we were actually just talking before we got started about how every pretty much good thing that happens is because of partnerships
Hmm.
that have happened, between the school and the town and different people in the community. And it's really just amazing what you can accomplish when everybody comes together.
Yeah, isn't it though? Danielle, you're the first selectman. But Marianne, tell us a little bit about what you do for Stonington.
So I'm the superintendent of Stonington Public Schools. So I
Hmm.
oversee 4 or 5 buildings, really. I have 4 traditional schools and then
Hmm.
one alternative program that is housed at the district office. We're a district of about 1,800 students, so it's a
Okay.
tiny district, but it's a spectacular district, school district, located in an amazing town with fabulous resources. I mean, we have partnerships with the Mystic Aquarium, the Mystic Seaport, Yellow Farmhouse, New England Science and Sailing, and the list goes on and
Yeah.
on. So if you can't do fantastic work in this location for students, something's very wrong. So
Yeah. So many
I'm
other schools
spoiled.
have to
I'm
go on a
spoiled.
field trip to see a lot of that stuff that you're talking.
Exactly. We just have to go around the corner. So
Gotta
we're
go
very
around the
blessed.
corner.
Very
That's
blessed.
great. Well, we had you on today to talk about your win in the Municipal Excellence Awards, which is very cool. We presented these awards recently at our convention, but Stonington won for their project called Pathways to a Brighter Future, Empowering Youth to Lead a Healthier, Freer Childhood. What does that mean? That's a long title.
The long title. It really sums up. I'm gonna let Marianne start because it really started with her and her amazing insights of how we can really, improve what we're doing with our youth. And it's definitely linked back with CCM's work on at-risk and disconnected youth.
Oh, okay.
So it really all comes together. But I'm gonna let Marianne start.
So as everyone across the country knows, that we have a serious issue with attendance in our schools.
Hmm.
Chronic absenteeism has crept up, obviously with the pandemic, but it hasn't fully recovered yet.
Hmm.
And that's just a symptom of a larger issue, Matt. And that's the message that our youth is telling us, that the school system's offerings are not working for them, right? It's the message that it's not important to come to school is a message that we're getting loud and clear. So we're looking at trying to make programming that's more engaging for students
Yeah.
who might not want to go to college. Maybe they want to go into the construction trades or
Hmm.
healthcare and want to get a CNA kind of credentialing. But the other piece that we've become quite interested in is this idea of mental health
Hmm.
and the connection between the mental health epidemic and social media platforms.
Yeah.
And so one facet of this work that is mentioned in the award is the Stonington Middle School took a brave leap this year,
Hmm.
and we're lucky enough to be able to secure Yonder pouches for all of the students' cell
Okay.
phones.
So what
So
are Yonder pouches? Can you
a
just
Yonder
describe this quick?
pouch it literally looks like an oversized glass case,
Hmm.
eyeglass case, and so the
Okay.
smartphone goes right into that case, and it snaps with a magnetic lock. And so at the beginning of the day, the children come into school, they already have their pouches, the phones go into the pouches, they're locked up so they cannot access them, and the pouches go into their lockers. So all day long, then they can't on their way back from the bathroom stop in their locker and check their phone. They're literally device free from the smartphones and the social media platforms for 7 hours a day. And again, we didn't want to just take something away from them. We also in place of that, if you will, we turned recess to the middle school, which has been an enormous success. Children won the lottery just because we let them run around for 15, 20 minutes. And then we also introduced a curriculum on basically instruction about how to be a responsible digital citizen, and also to be wary of the dangers that are out there, because we have stranger danger that is implanted in their brain, and yet we give them a device that is allowing them access to a world that is not supervised, and it can get them into a lot of trouble. So that's one piece of what's happened in the award that Danielle is really credited for, because it dovetails into all of the research that the Dalio Foundation is doing. And what has happened because of that is the town has gotten involved with the project. So why don't you talk about how the town supported this same work?
It was great. So Mary Ann kind of brought everybody together, and the other thing that was so important is she's been doing a lot of education. So with parents, with caregivers, with the kids themselves, empowering them to understand, the impact social media can have, the impact even those YouTube shorts, and like what it does to your brain, and like the release that it gives, and then you kind of crave that, and then how normal then social interactions can become less, and that disconnection piece that we see them with school and interactions, like personal, in real time, real life interactions with peers. So they've done a series that we participated and supported, but everything from like business owners in the community, how they see this, to nonprofits and different teachers, mental health providers, the police have gotten involved. So it's just been amazing kind of facets. So between like different talks that have been given, community engagement, kind of promoting education. We got a great billboard actually on the side of Route 1 that gets a lot of traction about this Wait Till 8 pledge, of trying to get parents and students to agree, like, let's not have smartphones until at least 8th grade, and even then let's use them responsibly. And then as part of that too, like we said, you don't want to just say, let's take something away. We've partnered with our human services department and the school to offer a new free after school programming for middle school students. And it's been really great for like the students who maybe, aren't interested in the sports that the school's already offering, or the theater. It's to get at the kids who otherwise just might not be participating. They might be going home and being on their phones. So it's been really, we just started it in October, but it's been wonderful. And so it's been really exciting. And then Marion can speak more to this, but also the business community engagement was like a kind of unexpected but amazing angle where they really want to get involved in this too, because they see this through their future workforce and the impact that this is having on them.
So like how do they cooperate with it? Like what's their part?
I've been in education a very long time, decades. When you start counting your career in decades, you're getting old. But I've never seen parents in the chambers of commerce, in both the Ocean Chamber on the westerly side and the Greater Mystic Chamber on the Mystic side, have come together. They've participated in a panel discussion with myself and the westerly superintendent, so different business owners, about how they see this idea of social media impacting their young hires, so from high school to young adults, and the impact it has on how extensively they have to kind of orient business folks when they come in to make eye contact, to not be on their phones when a customer comes in. What does that mean to manage your time? All of those executive functioning skills that we take for granted. So they've done a panel discussion with us. The superintendent in Westerly and I have done a couple of radio spots together on it. And what I love is that the chambers have come together, and we are literally, for the month of January, sponsoring another event just for elementary school children, where we're going to be giving all the elementary schools kids a bingo card, and they have, in each square is a different activity that is something to do with not being on a device, whether it's playing a game of cards, or going to a park, or writing a thank you note to somebody, or calling up somebody that you love and having a conversation, to kind of re-emphasize the positive use of time off of the device. And when they fill out their bingo card, there's going to be 5 businesses in the area where they can drop off their card. And we'll be pulling 5 winners, drawing in early February. And the local businesses, again, have donated. I think we've got a $25 gift card from SIFT,
Oh, cool.
$25 gift card from the chamber. We've got a lobster tree puzzle. So every winner will get the same grab bag of gifts. And I just think that speaks to how the community is seeing how important this is, and that this mental health crisis, it's not something the schools can do on their own 7 hours a day for 10 months of the year. It is a community crisis that we can address together.
Yeah. When you started this, you said you had some, panels and stuff like that. Did you need to drum up support with the parents and the students? Like, did you kind of have to sell it in the beginning?
Yes.
She wasn't the most popular person for a while.
Luckily, when I'm getting smarter in my old age too. When we had the opportunity to secure these Yonder pouches, I brought the concept to the Board of Education, because with the board behind me, it's a powerful message that they see the value in this as well. And what most people hadn't become aware of, but they are now, is that the Board of Education by law can eliminate these smartphones in the schools. And so it's not often that we as a school system can say something's black or white, right?
Yeah.
But in this instance, when we say no, it's a hard no if the community agrees. And there were some people who were concerned, but it was also about educating the parents about, you want to have access to your child in case something horrible happens in the school. You want to have that. But the police don't want that. They want to make sure that your child isn't giving out critical information about their location and how things are unfolding. They don't want the phone lines jammed up, and they don't want traffic coming to the school to interfere with any first responders. And then they start, it makes sense to them. They understand it. And that idea of, well, I need to be able to get a hold of my child. Well, do it the old-fashioned way. Call the office if you need to.
Somehow we all survived without it for
we
decades
did.
and decades.
And so it's just that it's changing habits, and those small habits, right? And those small ways of thinking about, I don't have that immediate access. You do. You can always get a hold of your child. So there was a lot of that. And then what happened was more and more parents came forward and said, I'm so glad you did that. And the schools took the phones away, because I didn't want to be the only parent.
They didn't have to be the bad guys.
Because you want your kid to be popular and cool and, included and all of that.
Yeah.
So little by little, the groundswell came forward from the parents actually supporting this. And many parents who had a child that has already gone through this in high school, or maybe they're in college and they have a younger one coming up, and they're like, oh, I wish I knew then what I know now. But we have the research now that supports what's going on, and we didn't. It's nobody's fault. We all got these devices.
It's new to all of us in so many ways.
Exactly. So no one's to blame, but we certainly can make small changes together.
So you said you started in October. We're coming up on Christmas break here. How's it going so far?
I'd say just to clarify, so yeah,
the cell phones have been removed for the entire school year. Danielle was referring to a program at the middle school.
Okay, so the whole school year, so halfway through the year now.
Yeah,
it's going.
It's going pretty well. I've been meaning to ask the building principal to grab the discipline data from last year to this year. But the school is quieter. They even had their first dance with the device-free, first dance. And it came back from the teachers and the administrators that it was the best middle school dance ever, because you didn't have kids filming each other dancing.
Yeah.
You were actually dancing and
crazy,
talking with one another. There was not like, let's try and capture it and repost it. And so there's been positive social changes, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, that is cool.
And I
was reading the other day go ahead, Dana.
I was gonna say, like, at lunch, I remember them talking about, like, compared to the high school where they do still have phones, like the kids actually are interacting and talking with each other instead of just sitting next to each other, but on their devices. So kind of being able to compare it and just see, I mean, it's, I think, just so much healthier. So I think it's definitely working. And I think also, like Marianne said, that it didn't just happen. It's like there was a whole previous year of education engagement. She gave out like 3 books for people to read, and we did like a reading challenge of like really understand why we're doing this. And I think that helped get the buy-in to understand like this is really important, not just for academic and future job success, but for the mental health issues that we're seeing between anxiety and the ballooning issues that are all across, not just Connecticut, but across the country, and that link with the different aspects of smartphones and the technology that's there.
We had the good fortune, Matt, of actually starting these conversations at the Board of Education level and with the administrators at Stonington Middle School last late winter, early fall. And what happened was Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, which is all the research, and it's a bestseller, on the New York Times bestseller list. It got published right around spring break last year. And I was like, we need to get this book in the hands of the leaders and parents and community members. And what happened was it became like a wildfire of interest. And we made it a summer reading challenge for everybody. And he even mentioned it. It was really my back to school speech for the teachers and the staff. And Mark Garceau in Westerly did the same thing. And so that coordinated effort is about starting the buzz and looking at the research and what is happening and why this is couched in science and why these kids, especially at the middle school level, they are, physiologically, their frontal lobe's not developed. And so they are more vulnerable to this addictive behavior that happens by design on these social media platforms. It's not an accident, right? It's all in game theory. They keep you coming back for more. And that made sense to people. And so I think everybody feels like they are empowered at some level to be part of the solution. And I think that's the magic of this.
Yeah. So don't just tell them we got to do this because we say so. Give them the information so you get the buy-in from the students, the teachers, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's really interesting. I was reading the other day in the New York Times about how a lot of Gen Z people in the city are getting into backgammon and chess clubs because they want that face-to-face interaction.
Phase, right? It's because people want to be social. We are social animals. It's really why kids come to school. It's, believe it or not, it's not because we're so fascinating.
Oh, I know.
In the classroom,
I was a kid.
They come to school to be social, but we have eroded that environment by giving them these devices. And so, again, it's a small step. I'm really encouraged. I'm excited that we've got this partnership with the businesses and the community. And, we can coordinate with them in January while this bingo contest is going on. I've spoken to the high school principal and she's like, well, you know what, we can have our wellness week attached to that and have some, activities with the high school kids that complement this idea of being device free, of being more focused on in-person relationships and those self-leadership skills, right?
Is there any sort of thought of pushing this to the high school? Would that ever happen, or?
So the building principal has talked about it. They have a device-free policy, if you will, in the sense of the kids don't have the phones on unless the teacher wants to use them for instruction. We have, especially in our science department, there's a lot of applications for manipulating data and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, though, she takes a look at nothing in the lunchroom, because that's the unstructured time is what we want them to use to develop those skills, right? And so I think she's watching the middle school very carefully, and she's going to inherit now these 8th graders who will be 9th graders next year, and they will be used to having a device-free environment. So I think she's thinking maybe that will be
start it with them and have it follow them up.
Exactly. Make it a norm rather than a rule, right? That's the key. That's our norm. People like us behave like this because we value being social creatures.
Yeah. You mentioned Westerly, which is across the border in Rhode Island. But when you were thinking about this, was there an inspiration for this? Did you talk to other towns that had tried it, or did this kind of, you started this?
Lisa Konecki, I think what happened was we started talking with the chambers, just brainstorming on the possibilities. And Lisa Konecki, who is the CEO of the Oceans Chamber, said, you should reach out to Mark Garceau. And I said, but we're football rivals. We can't possibly work together. I mean, we are, life centuries long, But that's what makes it so cool. And Mark and I talk all the time now, which is really funny because, we would meet each other at different award ceremonies and things like that. But now we're on the phone like, hey, we're going to do this. Do you want to do this together? And it's the way superintendents should be corresponding. Like, how can we partner together to make things better for our students rather than you calling us snow day today? I mean, it's a whole different, more sophisticated level of engagement. And I think that is super exciting. If two rival districts can work together because we're a community. We share we share businesses, families. It's really exciting, and I'm very, very proud of that.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. Carrie, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about this Repair Cafe.
Yeah, it's very cool. So you were or Guilford was one of the winners for the Municipal Excellence Awards at our recent convention. And the project you won for was the Repair Cafe. Could you tell us a
Right.
little bit about the Repair Cafe and how you're involved?
Well, I'm the chair of our Sustainable Guilford Task Force,
Okay.
and so we take sustainable initiatives
Mhm.
to Guilford, and we worked with Sustainable Connecticut as well
Okay.
to get the certification. So that's our job in
Mhm.
town. And one of the initiatives was Repair Cafe.
Mhm.
It is something that we had been thinking about for a while, but we had just the right people come together
Mhm.
that were interested in Repair Cafe in a very big way, because it's a lot of work to
Yeah.
organize and put together. So we had just the right people, the right team at the right time to organize this Repair Cafe.
Very cool.
And yeah, so it Repair Cafe actually started in Amsterdam. I don't
Okay,
know
so
if you were.
you didn't invent this concept. This is not something
We did not invent
Okay.
this. It's
It's
something we had
new in
heard
Guilford,
about.
but not new in the world. Okay.
Right, exactly. So I think it was started around 2007 in Amsterdam,
Okay.
and it's been around for many years. There's now about 2,500 repair cafes around the world.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so it's very cool. I think the concept, the principles and concept behind Repair Cafe are to support sustainable communities.
Mhm.
So to do that, you need like a circular economy. In other words, reusing the raw materials
Yeah.
instead of remanufacturing something. Just keep reusing over and over again. And so that, of course, if you manufacture or even if you recycle,
Mhm.
that produces CO2.
Mhm.
We say instead of throwing it away, repair it. The thing is that these days we've kind of lost the skills to repair,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
we're a very busy society.
Mhm.
And so if something breaks, we throw it away.
Yeah.
So by teaching people and just giving people the idea that, hey, you could repair that
Mhm.
and it wouldn't end up in the landfill. So we're reducing the materials in the landfill as well.
Yeah.
And we're leading people to realize how wasteful that is of the raw materials,
Mm. That's
right?
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you have instructors and stuff. What sort of things can you repair? Can you electronics? Can you darn socks? What sort of things do you work on?
Oh my gosh, yes. Jewelry can be repaired.
Okay.
Sewing is a big one.
Mhm.
We get a lot of people in that need things sewed, hemmed, buttons put on, repaired, rips, whatever it is.
Mhm.
We have very enthusiastic repairs and small appliances,
Mhm.
lamps. We get a lot of lamps in, furniture, small wooden furniture, sharpened tools.
Mhm.
Let's see, electronics, of course, and electrical appliances. So that would be
Yeah.
the lamps and toasters, those small appliances.
Mhm.
Um, and toys.
Oh,
We
that's
get some
cool.
toys. We get
Yeah.
some bicycles. Um,
So
and
does the cafe have tools available for the people to use on these products?
yeah, right. So what happened? The real heart of a repair cafe are
Mhm.
the repairs.
Mhm.
So, and we got an amazing number of people volunteer
Mhm.
to participate and to repair things for free.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And, 20, 30 people wanted to
Mhm.
help repair. They were real, the people who repair are really happy to share their expertise.
Mhm. So when
And
someone goes in with something, is someone showing
yeah,
them how to repair it themselves, or are they helping them repair it? What's the process like?
No, yeah, that's a very good point to bring up. The process is that here's the expert repairer,
Mhm.
and someone comes in, they have an object. Well, it's not like you take it to repair and you drop it off and go away.
Mhm.
You sit with the person, we have long tables set up,
Mhm.
and you sit with the repairer with your object and you watch them repair. They talk to you
Mhm.
about what's wrong with it. So they kind of analyze your object.
Mhm.
And so the person who is bringing in the object is really learning a lot about that
Yeah.
because you're seeing this object being taken apart and analyzed and saying, hey, you could do this or you could do that. Now, we don't really always have like the parts they would need,
Mhm.
but then that person would learn what parts they do need,
Mhm.
where to go to get them, um, who in the community might be a professional repairer somewhere.
Mhm.
So even if it's not fixed immediately at that time,
Mhm.
the person learns how to repair.
That's cool.
So it's really both things.
So, who is the program open to? Is it all Guilford residents? Could people from other towns come in? What's the rules?
Yeah, well, we actually advertised quite widely, and so we
Mhm.
got people from all up and down the shoreline.
Okay, so it's not just Guilford.
Yeah, for our first repair cafe. Now
That's
we've
cool.
had three. Yeah, we've had three so far. So
Mhm.
we did one 2023 in November. That was our first one.
Mhm.
In that one, 80 people showed up all
That's
at
cool.
once in
Wow.
the first hour. And we were like, whoa, we were hoping a few people would show up. And here's 80 people and they're lining up out the door. We held
Wow.
it at our community center in Guilford. And it was a little overwhelming
Mhm.
because we had to process these people really fast and they're holding heavy objects
Mhm.
sometimes. And but the atmosphere is just really, a jovial atmosphere
Mhm.
because this is something new and different and it's free, right?
Yeah.
So so yeah, so we got those people through. And in the end, we did it for 3 hours.
Mhm.
And so in the end, we processed about 108 objects in
Oh,
total.
wow. So you
So
said like 80 people showed up. Did you
yeah,
learn anything from that first one with all those people? With future ones, are you going to try to space it out
yeah,
more or?
yeah. We learned a lot from
Yeah.
that because then you have 80 people. The reason why it's a repair cafe is the cafe part.
Mhm.
So the cafe part is we have a cafe set up.
Oh,
So
cool.
on one side of the room, we have the tables with repairs. On the other side, we have coffee and tea and cider and whatever.
Mhm.
And we have refreshments, baked goods. And so people are invited while they're waiting to sit at these round tables
Mhm.
and socialize.
Cool.
So the whole thing really becomes a community socializing event.
Yeah. Cool. So the cafe, the food and the stuff there, is that free for people there, or do they buy it
Oh
and it
yeah,
helps
absolutely.
support?
Everything's free.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah,
I didn't know if
everything.
maybe the cafe helps support the program or something. How is the program funded?
Everybody volunteers, number one.
Keeps it cheap. Yep.
Yeah. Um, we had food donated by Havens Harvest. That's the group that rescues food
Hmm.
uh, and then distributes it to various organizations around town. So they gave some. We had lots of people who wanted to bake.
Hmm.
So we had a lot of good stuff to eat.
Yeah.
Um, and then the repairers are very generous.
Mm.
They bring any of their parts and all of their tools, and they just set up a shop. And then if it's if it's a part like let's say it's a part to a lamp,
Hmm.
and the lamp repairer has some available, well then the person with the lamp would of course want to reimburse
Yeah.
the repair for the cost of that.
Hmm. Because it's not
So
coming from the program or the town, it's coming from that person's own
it comes from that
stash of
person.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, say, wow, you actually have the part, sure, and I'm happy to give you whatever, a few dollars, whatever that part
Yeah.
might cost. So that works out well.
What's something that stands out to you as one of the cooler things you've seen fixed?
Oh, well, that is, I think one of the things that I really liked
Hmm.
are the people who brought in like family heirlooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because they were so meaningful to these folks, And let's see, there was one lamp that was just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And of course, the family didn't want to let go of it. They would love to have had it repaired, and we were
Mhm.
able to repair it for them. And they were just so grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, we did distribute feedback forms,
Mm.
and they were all positive.
Oh, that's great.
It was, we got a few suggestions like, could you take appointments?
Mm.
And so we kind of struggled with, if we take appointments, then we don't have as much socialization.
Yeah, the
And
cafe part of it. Yeah.
yeah, so we like that buzz in the room,
Hmm.
and we like sort of the shared space, and getting to know people you wouldn't meet otherwise.
Yeah.
But then that is the problem that we're learning from is everybody, the second one, actually the third one now that we've had, everybody came at the beginning again.
Hmm.
So you get this big rush at the beginning. So you get a line, and you're trying to, I've worked mainly in the front intake desks, and you're trying to bring people in as quickly as possible and organize them according to, what the object is
Hmm.
and who the repairers are available. And that can get complicated. And so next time I think we're going to try the appointment idea.
Do you know when the next one's going to be? Do you have a date set or?
Yeah, well, here's what we've been doing. The first one we did, it was in Guilford. And then the following spring, so that would be the spring of 2024,
Hmm.
we went and mentored Branford because we
cool.
think it's a good idea if we, spread this out.
Hmm.
And so we mentored Branford, and they had a repair cafe that I was at in the spring of 2024.
Mhm.
And then we just had one on November 2nd of this year.
Yeah.
And we invited Branford to come to ours.
Yeah. Were the Branford and November ones well attended as the first one?
The one in Branford wasn't as well attended.
Hmm.
We didn't get as many repairers from Branford, and we didn't get as many people coming in from Branford, but it was a good first step.
Yeah.
And then the second one, this November was, I think we did at least 100 objects. So about 100 objects coming in. So it was maybe 8 less. I bet it was very
Very close.
comparable.
Yeah.
And then the next one will be in the spring again,
Yeah.
spring 2025.
Who do you see using the cafe, coming to the cafe? Are they young, old, the whole spectrum?
There's the whole spectrum. I mean, some families come in with kids that have toys that want repaired.
Hmm.
We do have a lot of people on the older range that come in. And so it is really across the board, I think.
Yeah. Are the repairers also kind of from all across the board as well?
Yes, but skewing towards the older end, definitely.
The experts that have more experience.
They have
and
more
like dealing with it.
expertise.
Yeah.
So we have a smattering of younger people, but we'd love to get more younger people in to get their expertise going for the
Yeah.
future.
And also young people to learn these skills that we don't want
Right.
to fade away.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah. So I mean, in the end, it's just a lot of fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for speaking with us today. It's really cool to hear about the Repair Cafe.
Oh, I'm happy to do it. Thank you for inviting me.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. Mayor Rilling, Lamont, thanks for joining us today.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
It's great to be here. So we're here to talk about your recent win of a Municipal Excellence Award. And Lamont, I know you were responsible for a large part of this along with the mayor. Could you just briefly tell us what your role is with the city and how you got into this?
Sure, thank you. And again, thank the mayor for this time too. I'm the city of Norwalk's chief of community services. And in that role, I oversee the health department, our human services department and our public library system on behalf of the city.
Mhm. That's great. So, as part of one of your departments, you did this project which won the Municipal Excellence Award for 2024, which was the Community Resource Hub. Mayor, what is a Community Resource Hub?
Well, it's a way that we can reach out to the public and make sure that people are not being left behind.
Mhm.
This was something that we started, and I give Lamond a total credit. I mean, he's a very visionary person. He understands what the city's about. He understands what people need. But this
Mhm.
was started during the pandemic because
Okay.
people were not getting the services that they needed.
Mhm.
Communications was pretty much shut down, and people need to know where they can get assistance.
Mhm.
There's a lot of uh, uh, food insecurity in
Mhm.
Lower Fairfield County, people living at or below the level of poverty. You wouldn't think that because we're considered the Gold Coast,
Yeah.
but in the past couple of years, we've helped well over 1,000 families. I believe, right, Lamont?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Well
sir.
over 1,000 families. And 3,000 individuals who
Wow.
might not have had that assistance.
Mhm.
And so we're very, very proud of it. We're very proud that it was recognized. And I want Lamont to explain a little bit more about our family navigators. I
Mhm.
think it's a very unique kind of thing that not many communities have. So
Yeah.
again, we're very proud of the award. We're very proud of how our outreach program works.
Yeah. Lamont, can you tell us
So,
about a little bit more? Yeah.
sure. No, thank you, Mayor. And I think we'll be remiss not to point out that uh, during the conception, this was a public-private partnership,
Okay.
both
Mhm.
from the Ritter Family Foundation and the Per and Astrid Heinrich Foundation.
Mhm.
That they helped us get this going. And as most folks know, especially from a municipality perspective, sometimes city funds don't allow for quick
Mhm.
innovation and piloting. I mean, so for 3 years, these wonderful family foundations really stepped up to the plate and allowed us to explore. We knew
Mhm.
there was a need. They gave us the funding for several years, and then through Mayor Rilla's leadership, the city has also supported this, and we're really excited about moving this into our operational budget. But as the mayor pointed out, the Family Navigators is really the anchor of the
Mhm.
Community Resource Hub. We have residents that live here who work here, and many of them have their own lived experiences,
Yeah.
but they are now knowledgeable in general and kind of like the go-to team of all things Norwalk. Norwalk residents can come to the Community Resource Hub, excuse me, and our family navigators are skilled not just to know what resources are available, but also people come to us oftentimes in their darkest hour.
Mhm.
It's not always easy to ask for help, so they're trained to give our residents dignity, respect. We have special rooms to meet with our residents, let them know we're here. And we're just excited that as a municipality, we have this free service
Mhm.
for our residents to help understand what's available to them in the city. There's a lot of wonderful, rich resources in the city of Norwalk,
Yes.
but someone who's trying to figure that out, just as we call the word navigator, they can use some help navigating where do I
Yeah.
go for this or who do I talk to? And the city of Norwalk provides a service to our residents.
That's great. So when you first started doing this, did you have like a blueprint for how this worked? Like how did you figure out, not only what a community resource hub is, but just the nuts and bolts of how to make the website work and that stuff? How did that all come around?
Well, there's this phrase that you build the plane while you're flying it. As the mayor pointed out, we saw a need, and the mayor said, "Let's make it happen." And
Mhm.
again, through the public-private partnership, they're used to working with organizations, in this case the
Mhm.
city, to help us explore and let us figure it out. So it's evolved. We've made some changes over the past several years and take pride of where we are. It has the infrastructure, the support for residents to come in, and we tweaked it. Some of our residents specialize in food insecurity.
Mhm.
Some of our navigators specialize in food security. Then we have another navigator specialize in the social service sector. We have
Mhm.
another another navigator specialized in housing. And sound they have their own little expertise, but then they're
Mhm.
also generous and knowledgeable of all the services. And then it's important we work with all the nonprofits. So because they are the feeder, we don't
Yeah.
provide the direct service, but we are essentially that hub of making sure that when you call 854-7999 here in the city of Norwalk, you have a real person picking up the phone. We take pride and we have a multi-language, multicultural team, Spanish, Haitian, Creole, to really meet the needs of our community.
That's awesome. Mayor, what does the assistance kind of look like when someone calls in? Is it different for everybody? Do you see a lot of the same kind of needs?
Well, people have consistent needs,
Hmm.
but also people are individuals that have different needs. Somebody may have food insecurity. Somebody may need help with their rent. Somebody may need clothing, food, those kinds of things.
Hmm.
And the family navigators and the people that are picking up the phone, they will help to identify
Hmm.
what the best approach is for this person. As Lamont mentioned, building the plane while you're flying it. The same thing with going through the pandemic. There's no
Hmm.
manual of how to
Yeah.
handle the pandemic. So we were learning as we were going. And the best way to do that is be in touch with the public.
Hmm.
They know what they need. All too often we find ourselves, well, let's do this and we'll tell them what they need. But
Yeah.
we need to find out from the people what they need.
Yeah.
And it's been a good approach. It's been a workable approach. And as I said, we've helped over 3,000 individuals in some way, shape, or form that to help them acquire some of the things they need to have a quality of life.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned that, you're helping people out and everything. Um, and it's not just them calling in. Some of these people, you're actually doing presentations, you're engaging the public, right?
Mhm. And we get referrals. We
Hmm.
get referrals from some of the agencies, and we get referrals from the school system. We might get referrals from the police department, but we get referrals so that we know to reach out to an individual. And, a lot of people are a little, maybe sometimes, even though they shouldn't be,
Hmm.
a little embarrassed to reach out for help.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to try to identify those people and reach out to them. And so it's really this has been a wonderful program. And
Hmm.
as I said, I think it's a model for other cities to replicate. I don't
Yeah.
think there's many people have this kind of a system in place.
Yeah. Mont, have you spoken to any of your counterparts in other towns? Has anyone expressed interest in what you're doing?
Yeah, we have actually. We get calls a lot. Some of our neighboring communities asking, what are you doing? We've heard about it. We also host every other Friday. We had one this morning that, again, the municipality through my office we lead, which is the community provider network call
Hmm.
every other Friday. And that, again, that started out from COVID, and we continue
Mhm.
to the mayor's point around. The city through the mayor's leadership stepped up, and we'd have calls with just about everyone in the city. The mayor will lead those calls weekly, sometimes twice a week. And out of that process, the nonprofits have said we need to stay together. So the nonprofits every other Friday stay together. We talk, we hear what the issues are, we learn about the issues. And that's where the flexibility of the community resource hub, we can kind of evolve and shape kind of the needs, or we have more pressing needs. We'll make sure our team is fully aware of what's available in that particular area. And to your point, we now go out and speak at schools, churches, to let them know your city is here to help you. We promote it through social media, but again, not everyone has access to the
Mhm.
internet. So we work to
Hmm.
provide these presentations. And at this point, we'll go, anyone who wants to hear what the city provides, we make that happen, and through the work that we do here at the Community Resource Hub.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like it's a terrific program and you're well deserved a 2024 Municipal Excellence Award. Just while we have you here, looking forward to 2025, is there anything going on in Norwalk that you're excited about?
Well, there's a
I'll
lot
throw it to the
happening in Norwalk. We're
a
excited.
lot.
We're building new schools.
Hmm.
We're improving our infrastructure, which in some areas is well over 100 years old.
Cool.
People are interested in Norwalk. People are
Hmm.
moving into Norwalk. They've taken notice of what we have to offer, our location, our amenities, all the kinds of things that improve upon the quality of life.
Hmm.
And, we're seeing across the board. People just, I've had people from surrounding towns, which maybe we'd normally call the
Yeah.
bedroom communities.
Hmm.
They tell me, oh, we love Norwalk. We came here because we came in, we looked around, we saw it was a great place. So we moved here from such and such a place. I won't name them right now, but pretty much a lot of different places. And when I talk to people, they say they're really pleased to see what's happening here in town.
Yeah.
And I am too. But it's because I and my team, we put together a wonderful team of professional people with skills and knowledge and abilities, and more importantly, the passion to work on behalf of the city. And as a result, we have gotten we've gotten our act in order, and we've made Norwalk a really good city, and I'm very proud of it.
That's awesome. Lamont, is there anything in your department that you're excited for this coming year?
Absolutely. Echo everything the mayor has said. We care about our people, evidenced by this program. We're going to institutionalize it into our budget this year. Thank you, Mayor. But it's, so that residents know that there's a place that they can come in City Hall and say, hey, I need some help. Where do I go? And you have some wonderful people who will greet them with respect and a smile to say, come, let's sit down. Let's help you figure out how to best meet your needs. So I'm really proud of that.
Awesome. Well, Mayor Lamont, thanks so much for speaking with us today, and congratulations again on your Municipal Excellence Award. Congratulations again to all the Municipal Excellence Award winners. The Municipal Voice is a co-production by CCM and WNHH 103.5 FM. Mr. Thornton is our executive producer, Christopher Gilson is our producer, Harry Draws is on the boards, and I'm Matt Ford, your host. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and give us a like, and watch out for our CCM chat series on our YouTube page.